Welcome back to Rekt Radio, the one and only show that looks at a complex legal document full of regulatory jargon and says, I see a beautifully wrapped gift just for us. I'm Sunny, and folks, the grown-ups are finally starting to play ball.
And I'm Cole. I'm here to remind you that when the grown-ups in Washington, D.C. write the rules to a game, it's usually because they want to make sure the house always wins. What you're calling a gift, I'm calling a rule book designed to keep us at the kids' table. Let's get into the fine print before our allowance gets cut.
It's not a restriction, Cole. It's a blueprint for a trillion-dollar runway. We have to talk about the new stablecoin bill making the rounds, the Lummis-Gillibrand Act. There's a clause in there that is, and I don't say this lightly, an act of pure genius. They are drawing a line in the sand and saying that massive big tech companies, your Googles, your Apples, your Metas, are not allowed to issue their own stablecoins. This is incredible.
An act of genius? Sonny, this is an act of blatant protectionism. It's not about fostering a healthy crypto ecosystem. It's about protecting the old world from a superior competitor. The government and their pals in the banking sector saw what happened when Meta tried to launch Libra a few years ago. They saw a company with billions of users that could create a new financial rail overnight, and they panicked. This isn't a genius clause, it's a pull-up-the-drawbridge clause.
It is a clause that protects decentralization and permissionless innovation. Can you imagine the nightmare of an Apple Pay dollar or a Google coin? They would have a captive audience of billions. They could dictate terms, censor transactions, and change the rules on a whim. They would become the new central banks, but without any of the accountability. This bill prevents that nightmare scenario and keeps the playing field open for the true builders in our space.
Open for whom exactly? Let's be honest about who wins here. This bill kneecaps big tech, which, for all its flaws, is still one of the most innovative sectors in the world, and hands a government-protected monopoly to a handful of approved players. Who do you think is cheering the loudest for this? It's the existing stablecoin giants like Circle and, ironically, the big traditional banks who are now being given a gilded path to issue their own stablecoins.
Exactly. This is the bridge. This is how we get a compliant, regulated, and massive stablecoin market. It gives a company like Circle, which has been trying to play by the rules for years, a clear lane to operate and grow without the existential threat of a trillion-dollar tech behemoth dropping a competing product overnight. It allows banks to come in and adopt the technology, bringing their capital and trust with them. This is how USDC becomes a true seamless part of the global financial system.
You're celebrating the creation of a cartel, Sonny. You're happy because we're swapping the potential for a powerful, efficient, privately run currency for the certainty of a slow, bureaucratic bank-run system just with crypto rails. We're not getting a revolution, we're getting the same old financial system with a new logo. We're replacing the unpredictable risk of big tech with the soul-crushing certainty of big banking. It's like being saved from a wolf by a bear. You're still going to get eaten.
It's called stability, Cole. It's about preventing a single corporate entity from gaining sovereign-level power over the flow of money. We all saw the fear in the eyes of regulators when Libra was announced. A company with Meta's reach could have challenged the US dollar's dominance on a global scale almost instantly. Preventing that kind of systemic risk isn't protectionism, it's responsible governance. It ensures that the currency layer remains a public good, not the property of a single FANG company.
And whose property is it now? It's the property of the government and the banks they protect. You say systemic risk, but what I hear is competition. They saw a product that might be better, faster, and cheaper than what they offer, and they killed it in the crib. Instead of letting consumers choose the best option in a free market, they legislated the competition out of existence. It's a classic case of regulatory capture, and you're cheering it on as a victory for crypto. The irony is staggering. This isn't pro-crypto, it's anti-innovation.
It is pro-stability, which is the bedrock of all future growth. This entire debate proves one thing. Everyone from senators to bankers to tech giants is fighting over this space. They're fighting because they know it's the future. And all of this drama, all of this jockeying for position, is just a sideshow to the main event. At the end of the day, there is only one true north.
Oh, here we go. Don't tell me you're about to pivot from the halls of Congress to your magical internet chart. Please spare me the suspense. What are the tea leaves on TradingView telling you today? Is there actually any conviction behind this market, or is it just a bunch of politicians arguing over who gets to control an empty room?
It would be my pleasure because the room is far from empty. It is buzzing with energy. I have the daily chart for Bitcoin pulled up right here, and the overall summary, the blended sentiment of all the major indicators, is a neutral signal.
Neutral? Did I hear you correctly, Sonny? You, the permanent bull, the man who finds a silver lining in a supernova, are telling me the market's big takeaway is a shrug? Neutral? That's not a buzz, that's the sound of a flatline. The market is telling you it has no idea where to go and no energy to get there. It's a dead calm.
Let me jump in here because you are completely misreading the signal. A neutral summary is the healthiest thing we could possibly see right now. It means the market is in a state of perfect balance and equilibrium, but you have to look under the hood. The oscillators, which measure that short-term momentum you love so much, are also sitting at neutral. No froth, no panic, just calm.
So the short-term picture is a flat line and the overall picture is a flat line? This is your bullish case? That nothing is happening? I'm on the edge of my seat. What else you got? Let me guess, your favorite old-timey, lagging, looking in the rearview mirror indicators are telling a different story?
They are telling the real story. The moving averages, which measure the powerful underlying trend, are still flashing a buy signal. And this is the most bullish setup imaginable. You have a confirmed long-term uptrend, represented by the buy on the moving averages, combined with a neutral reading on momentum. This means the market has held its gains, weathered the storm, shaken out the weak hands, and is now calmly consolidating its power on a high plateau. It's not exhaustion, it's discipline. It's a lion resting before the hunt.
It's a patient on a gurney whose heart has stopped beating, and you're saying, look how calm and relaxed he is. This is a classic stall, Sonny. The trend of the past is a buy, but the energy of the present is neutral. There is no new fuel coming into the engine. The buyers have dried up. The only thing holding the price up is the memory of the previous rally. You see a high plateau, I see the edge of a cliff where all the forward momentum has ceased. The next step is a long one, and it's straight down.
It's the ultimate Launchpad. A confirmed buy trend with reset momentum is a textbook entry signal. It shows the underlying strength is real and the market is just waiting for the next catalyst. That stablecoin bill could be it. It's a coiled spring, Cole, building tension for an explosive move higher.
It's a tug-of-war where both sides have let go of the rope. The market is floating in limbo, and you're mistaking the lack of gravity for a solid floor. When the buyers are this quiet, it's not because they're disciplined, it's because they're scared. Don't get caught floating when the air runs out.
That's all for this episode of Rekt Radio. I see a future where the rules are being written to support sustainable growth, creating the perfect foundation for a Bitcoin market that is rested, recharged, and ready to roar. Stay bullish.
And I see a future where the government is strangling real innovation to protect the old guard, creating a market with no conviction and no momentum. Be careful out there when a rest turns into a rout. You've been listening to Rekt Radio.